What's going on, y'all? It's your man EK here, back with another edition of the Clutch City Review, where I review every single Houston Rockets game from this 2024-2025 season. Now, you already know what I'm about to say. Before we even get into the review, please go ahead, follow me on Instagram at Coalition Hoops. Oh, I'm sorry, at Coalition.Hoops, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. Thank you, Elon, at Coalition Hoops. Now, let's go ahead and get into the review. Now, I want to start this review by saying this win against the Dallas Mavericks was definitely the best win of this young season. We end up getting the road win 108-102 to improve the 3-2, pretty much finishing up our early season Texas road stand. Like I said in my last video, we had those two back-to-back road games against San Antonio where we split, and we just beat the Dallas Mavericks, the defending Western Conference champions, at full strength on their home floor. What a win. I'm going to get into it right about now. So first off, I want to start off with the way we were able to start the game. And really the way we were able to start the game is the way we pretty much finished the first half, which was defense, rebounding, and getting to the rim. That's how we were able to get ahead by so many points early in the game. I want to give some shout outs real fast. Dylan Brooks got us off to a very good start. Hit 2 threes in the first half. He was very effective for us off the catch. He was also able to get into the lane, use his strength to really put pressure on the rim in order to get to the rim and attack and finish. Also, I got to give some shout outs to Jalen Green once again. Only had 5 points in the first quarter. However, steadily attacking the rim. We're seeing now, as the season starts to progress a little bit, when Jalen Green is the primary ball handler, he's starting to understand that he doesn't have to go at full speed all the time. So if he's coming off of a screen, he can wait to see what the defense is going to do, if the low man is going to hedge, what the secondary defender is going to do, and everything like that, to see what he needs to do in terms of whether he needs to score the ball, whether he's going to give it to the roller, whether he's going to let the roller roll, or and while he penetrates a little bit, that way maybe he can get some backdoor cutting action from the weak side or the strong side corners, right? So those are just some of the things that he's been able to sort of recognize and see, and that comes with experience. Typically guys like Jalen Green, who was super athletic, fast, all that type of stuff, sometimes they just need the game to slow down. And once they're allowed the game to slow down, now they can develop their playmaking ability, and while still leaning on that athleticism and speed and finishing ability and skill and all that when it's needed, right? So I really like what I'm seeing from Jalen Green. Also, Operation Sengun, he was very good tonight. Shooting wise, he wasn't the greatest. He was 5 of 16, had 17 points, 12 rebounds. Didn't really play a lot in the fourth quarter, to be completely honest. We ended up going with Tari and Amen to close the game out. But to get back to the first half, I thought we were really able to attack the rim, and we were able to put pressure on the Dallas bigs. And really the only viable big they have, real true big they have, is Derek Lively, and we had him in foul trouble all night, right? We were able to get to the foul line. We were able to get into the rim. We were able to get to the rim. We were able to finish. For a very good stretch of the first half, we were shooting over 50% as a team. It was our best offensive showing as a team. The ball was moving. Guys were cutting. When guys like Tari Eason got in the game, Cam Whitmore got in the game, they were cutting, moving without the ball, things of that nature. When you have a very athletic and young team with a lot of guys who have the ability to, either shoot the open three, make a quick move off the dribble and off the catch, you have to be able to constantly move. And with us, our defense fuels our offense. It's kind of the opposite, right? Most young teams, their offense fuels their defense. Our defense fuels our offense. When we're getting stops, when we're limiting teams to one shot only, man, we are able to get out and run when we get numbers, and we're able to score pretty effectively with that strategy. So I felt like we were able to do that in the first half. And also, speaking of this, man, I want to talk about Tari Eason for a minute, because in my opinion, I know I've said Jalen Green has been the best player for us so far this season, but I don't know this for a fact, but I'm willing to bet Tari Eason probably has the best plus minus, because Every time he's in the game, whether it's on offense or defense, he's making a winning play. Whether it's getting the 50-50 ball, whether it's contesting a shot, whether it's hitting the big shot, whether it's coming up with offensive rebounds, things of that nature. He is just an amazing player that can come in and score for you if needed, defend for you if needed, rebound for you if needed. And the great thing about guys like that, you rarely need to run a play for him. He's going to be able to get his within the flow of the offense, right? So because you don't need to run a play for him, he can pretty much play one-on-one whenever he needs to, off the catch, off the dribble, which he's capable of doing. Now soon teams are going to key in on that. But for right now, I call him our secret weapon off the bench, because a lot of teams maybe aren't game planning for Tari Eason the way they need to be. And I mean, I think he's going to show a lot of people that people need the game plan for him, because I believe he's been our most instrumental player in all of the wins we've definitely had. He's been amazing. So shout out to Tari Eason on that. But to get back to the first half, we ended up getting up by as much as 23. And then Dallas ended up going on a bit of a run. Kyrie was really able to get some shots off, some really tough shots off over Amen Thompson sometimes, Dylan Brooks sometimes. And he was able to score about 8 points to close out the second quarter. So they ended up whittling that down to about a 13-point lead. But then we ended up going back up in the third quarter by about 20 again. And that was just, like I said, based upon the continued efforts, being able to score in the paint, being able to control the offensive boards and the defensive boards. You know, when you're able to control the rebounds the way we were able to control them tonight, you can control pace. You know, and when you're able to score in the paint, you know, typically that's going to increase your field goal percentage, and that's also going to increase the likelihood of you being able to get to the line, which will further control the pace of the game, right, for the team who's able to do all those things. So I thought we were able to do a lot of that in the third quarter. Now, towards the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, guys like Klay Thompson started hitting shots, Luka started getting loose, Kyrie started getting loose, and all of a sudden, really through the fourth quarter, we found ourselves in the it got as close as 3 points, I believe. They were down by 3. However, late in that fourth quarter, I got to shout out this man again, Jalen Green, 11 points in the fourth quarter. Every big bucket we needed, he was able to give it to us by just getting to the rim, right? And I understand he's been working on his mid-range jump shots. Jalen Green, if you're watching this, but I'm pretty sure you're not, please, my brother, when the defense gives you that space, when they're playing drop, put your body into the shot blocker's chest and finish over him, because nobody can really stop you from getting to the rim. And that's why we were able to really close the game out. Jalen Green had 2 big buckets. I think Amen came in with a big bucket. DB had a big bucket. Tari had a big bucket as well in that closing lineup. I thought all those guys were amazing. And really the main takeaway that I had from this game is, honestly, we have the ability to be a top 3 defense in the NBA, not even in the Western Conference. The problem is when we have the ability to sort of take the foot off the gas and not necessarily take care of the ball, not get good shots. A lot of that tonight was really a product of Fred VanVleet not making good decisions with the basketball. I believe he was 2 for 13 tonight. He did not play well offensively, and he was also in that starting lineup. And we know he doesn't really have an advantage amongst other point guards in the NBA. You know, so his key contribution typically is going to be on the offensive end, either being a scorer or playmaker, and he wasn't either tonight. And I think he's a big reason as to why, you know, they were able to get back in the game, as opposed to just sort of slowing the offense down, letting it run through Jalen Green, being more off ball, things of that nature. I felt like he didn't necessarily do that tonight, which is why they were able to get back in the game. And also at the end of the day, you know, Dallas made tough shots. You know, they were going to have a stretch where they were going to make some tough shots. Klay made some tough shots. Kyrie made some tough shots. Luka made some really tough shots in the fourth quarter. When you got those 3 guys on one team and they're playing off of each other, it's hard to keep them corralled for long. And if you don't have nuclear offensive weapons on your side as well, you know, that's an easy way for them to be able to get back in the game. But I thought, all in all, like I said, Jalen Green, he's been the best player for us. He had 22 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. He didn't shoot the ball well, but I really don't care about that because he gave us the points when we needed them. Late in the fourth quarter, flatten everything out. Maybe you could do a 1-4 flat, high screen and roll. Just let him get downhill. Let him get downhill. Let him get ahead of steam. Let him go off 2 feet in the paint and see what happens. Because most of the time he's either going to get fouled, he's going to finish, or he's going to finish with the and one, because he is that lethal at finishing at the rim. And I thought, like I said, he did an amazing job. I thought DB was awesome. I thought Şengün played very, very solid, which really helped us out on the defensive boards, grabbing 12 rebounds. And I thought Amen Thompson and Tari Eason came off the bench for 25 points tonight. Tari Eason had 15, Amen had 10. They were both in that closing lineup. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that, we were matching Dallas's lineup, because obviously Derek Lively was in foul trouble, so he was on the bench. So they were going small as well. So we had to match them, which is why our P was on the bench as well, which is something I was not mad at all, because at the end of the day, Tari and Amen, although they're, obviously stretch fours and small forwards, threes, fours, whatever you want to call it, they had the ability to be versatile defenders and rebound and defend at a high level and make shots. They both hit 2 very, very big shots to really put the game away for us, which is something that we needed, obviously, coming off of this road stand and going back home where we play Golden State on Saturday. So all in all, man, I really, really love the win. I wish we could really hold on to these leads a little bit more tightly, but I feel like as the season sort of progresses, we're going to get better at holding on to these leads. When we gain these leads through proper defensive rotations, taking care of the basketball, forcing turnovers, getting to the rim, establishing Jalen Green and or Alperen Şengün, we have to be able to continue that. And I think that's where Fred comes in. Fred has to be the one to stem the tide and say, hey, listen, if we see 2 bad shots in a row, Ime's calling the timeout and Fred is corralling those troops and saying, hey, listen, we need to maybe do a side screen and roll for Şengün on the right block. Right, maybe we need to do a high screen and roll for Jalen Green for him to get downhill. Let the defense collapse, and then DB gets an open 3. Maybe Tari gets an open 3. Maybe I get an open 3. As opposed to shooting these early shot clock threes, either whether it's Fred VanVleet or Dylan Brooks trying to go off the dribble. That's not what we need from those guys, right? Those guys are veterans that came here to teach these young guys how to win and how to play a team game. Right, and we don't necessarily need them, really more Fred more than DB. We don't need him to try to maybe pull his best Steph Curry impression at times. We don't need him to do that. We know he's getting paid a lot of money, but at the end of the day, we're not going to care how much money you get paid if you're contributing to helping these guys win. We don't care about the stats, none of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, if we want this to be a 50-plus win Rockets team, is going to have to go through JG and Alperen Şengün. And Fred VanVleet is going to have to be the one to facilitate that. And if he does that, in my opinion, he'll be well worth the $44 million that he's getting paid, regardless of what anybody wants to say about that. So that's what I wanted to put out there, man. But all in all, a very, very good win. I'm really excited about this team. We're 3-2 in the season right now, and it looks like we're gelling together as we progress. Like I said, Jalen Green is really maturing before my eyes. Alperen Şengün, he hasn't really played up to par so far this season, which really makes me excited, because once those guys start to learn how to play together more effectively, it's going to be a problem for the entire league, because our defense is already there. So once our offense catches up with our defense, we're really, really going to be scary for a lot of teams. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys next time on the Clutch City Review after we play and hopefully beat the Golden State Warriors on Saturday. Once again, thank you guys so much for listening to what I got to say about the Houston Rockets. If you want to follow me on Instagram at coalition.hoops, you can. And if you also want to follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Coalition Hoops, please do so for more Rockets content, and also for content about any other basketball players around the league. I try to show love to all the players around the league who may not get the attention that they deserve and things of that nature. So please go ahead and give me a follow on all those platforms, and also like, share, subscribe to the video. I'd appreciate that too, and it's free. Thank you guys so much. Y'all take it easy. Peace.